aspiring Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest Sherry. I'd like to begin my speech by narrating two true life stories. The first one is of John Landy, an Australian track athlete. He is best remembered for his performance in the 1,500 meter finals of the 1956 Australian National Championships. In that race, a fellow runner, Ron Clark, was leading. At some point in the race, Clark slipped and fell down. John Landy stopped to check on Clark and get him back in the race. The two men resumed the race, but strangely, towards the end of the race, Landy had already picked up on the deficit and went on to win the race. The newspapers called it a spontaneous act of sportsmanship. The second story is from my own life. This was several years ago back in Bombay. One morning, I was getting to work in a fairly crowded train. As I reached my destination and I got off, I realized that my handbag got pulled away from me and was pulled into the crowded train. The next thing I knew, I was standing at the platform, watching the train speed away, and I had lost my bag. I had my credit cards and cash in it, and I was very distraught. I reported the loss immediately to the station office, with no hopes of getting it back. But strangely, that evening, an officer called me to tell me that my handbag had been found. I later found out that it was handed in by a little beggar boy whose name I will never know. Both John Landy and that little boy displayed genuine character. One was in the early news and the other one disappeared into oblivion, but both of them did what they knew was right. At the risk of sounding politically incorrect, I would like to say that there are absolute rights and wrongs when it comes to the way we treat other people. The golden rule always applies. Do to others as you would want them to do to you. Good character is what makes all the difference in our homes, schools, and workplaces. There are 3 C's to remember when it comes to character: core, consistency, and cost. Core is the essence of our being, of what we are on the inside. Consistency is doing the right thing every time. And cost is doing the right thing no matter what the risk involved is. So remember the 3 C's: core, consistency, and cost. When it comes to developing good character, there are a few things to keep in mind. First thing is, live out your values. It is one thing to preach trustworthiness, gratitude, fairness, and quite another to practice it. We always have little children observe their parents very carefully to see whether they do what they say, whether they walk the talk, so to speak. So when we do what we preach, it's character in action. Secondly, keep your promises. No matter how small the promise is, and no matter who you make it to, keep your word. There may be events that prevent us from fulfilling our commitments, but it's always important to get back to the person to let them know why we can't fulfill something. Keeping the promise means you're dedicated, you're committed, and you're honest. Thirdly, don't take shortcuts in life. I don't know how many of you have ever been on an HR interview panel, but I have. And so many times I find myself favoring someone who has the right attitude over somebody who has extraordinary skills. we all value qualities like perseverance, reliability, and responsibility. And whenever we come across someone who's lied on their resume, it always brings their character into question. People who take shortcuts in life put their credibility in question, and they cannot sustain that for long. Fourthly, do a heart check every day. We are all individually responsible for building character. One of the innate desires that each of us have as human beings is to be better people. So take time each day to reflect on what you've done well and what needs improvement. So many times we are very concerned about reputation more than we are about character. Reputation is what people think of us. It's just the surface. It's our carefully crafted Facebook profiles or the recommendations that we have on our LinkedIn profiles. But character goes much deeper. It is who we are on a daily basis, when things go well and when things go wrong. It's who we are in the boardroom as well as the living room. It is who we are when no one is watching. And that is why Thomas Paine said, reputation is what men and women think of us, but character is what God and angels know of us. I found a little poem called Myself, and I would like to read a few lines of it which has bearing on what I'm talking about. This is myself. I have to live with myself, and so I want to be fit for myself to know. I want to be able, as days go by, always to look myself straight in the eye. I don't want to stand with the setting sun and hate myself for the things I've done. I can never hide myself from me. I see what others may never see. I know what others may never know. I never can fool myself, and so, whatever happens, I want to be self-respecting and conscience-free. Madam Toastmaster.